Hello my YouTube family and hello my lovely mamas. I'm here today because I gave birth. I want to share with you a new experience of my life, the postpartum experience, because for me it wasn't an easy one. Mentally, physically, it was hard. I don't know if people talk about it. So in this video, I will share with you everything that I went through after I gave birth. It took me 6 weeks to share with you and to share on my Instagram that I gave birth, because this is the time that it took me to come back and feel better with myself and recover. Let me know in the comments down below anything that you want to know. If you're also giving birth, your fears, let's just discuss it. I want it to be a very open and honest video. I want to also make another video on my whole pregnancy journey because it was so beautiful, and then I want to make another one on my birthing experience. So if you're interested in knowing the super big thing that happened in my life, I will share it here on YouTube. So subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram. I have 2 accounts, Crishya and Crishya Style. Woman's body goes through so much during pregnancy, after giving birth, during birth. It's just a lot of emotions and hormones, and it's just a roller coaster of everything. You don't really know how to deal with it, and it feels like you have spikes of happiness, spikes of sadness. Nothing in your head just makes sense, and on top of it all, you have to focus on giving birth, and you're gonna have a new baby, and mentally is not easy at all. At least for me, it has been 6 weeks that I have given birth, and can you imagine that it is only now that I felt comfortable sharing the fact that I gave birth on social media? Because until now, I just needed time to adapt to the new life. If you are struggling mentally, you should definitely search for help at any time. There's nothing embarrassing about that. Don't stay in your dark hole, and don't let depression and all the dark thoughts conquer your brain, because it gets much harder afterwards. As soon as you feel that something's wrong, look for help. If you don't know where to look for help, and getting help could be hard. You might not have the right therapist in your area, and you might find face-to-face interactions more complicated. You might not be comfortable. I have something that could actually be useful for you. BetterHelp. I don't know if you've heard about it. BetterHelp is also the sponsor of this video, so thank you very much for supporting mental health and for wanting to be part of all of the postpartum mental health journeys. And not only, it is a website that connects you to a licensed therapist who is trained to listen to you and give you helpful and unbiased advice. It is a very good way to start healing your mental health. I've used BetterHelp in the past when I really needed some help, and I needed someone that I can talk to that knew nothing about me. It was really just a phone call away, a text away, and was available for me. I had a person help me and give me advice that maybe I haven't thought about myself. And it's not the same as speaking to one of your friends. This is you getting help from a licensed therapist. To get started, you have to fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you'll get matched with your therapist, in most cases within 48 hours or even less. Then you'll be able to schedule a therapy session at the time that's convenient for you, over a phone call, as a video chat, or even via messaging if that's what you prefer. Whatever is the most comfortable therapy version for you, this is what you can choose. If you're interested in something like this, I have a link that will give you a 10% discount on your first month with BetterHelp, so that you can really go out there and find help. What I also really enjoy about this is the fact that if you do not match with a therapist that you have been assigned with at the very beginning, you can always switch. So you can have a new therapist at no additional cost. You don't have to stress out about it. No one's gonna ask you why. You just switch to a new one whenever you feel the need to have someone else to talk to and maybe get more and different opinions on your issue. If you are not where you're supposed to be in your head, consider getting help, consider BetterHelp, and find a way to make yourself happy, because you are the only person that can make yourself happy and good in your head. So if you do need that, go on www.betterhelp.com/Crishya to get a 10% discount on your first month for help. Do it, and trust me, you will see life in a different way after you have been clearing that dark fog that you've had in front of your eyes. As a mom, it's just expected of you from the society, the second you give birth, to know exactly what you have to do, to feel amazing. Everything's wonderful. You just gave birth to a baby. There's no problem and nothing has to do with you anymore. It's just a baby. But it's not that easy. For some people, it hits them differently. You know, it's a new person that enters your life and you have to give him that space. And you don't realize while you're pregnant, it's not like you're making space for him while you're pregnant. Like, it just comes gradually. It's okay if you don't know what to do. You're just gonna adapt. Right after giving birth, all your hormones just drop. I mean, throughout the whole labor time, everything is on a spike. Somehow you feel a rush of adrenaline everywhere. And then after you give birth, and it's all done, it all just goes down. This whole craziness that was happening inside of you and this like hype that you were on, and you were like reaching the mountains, you were like on a peak. You feel like you're just falling from the top of the mountain into just a hole somewhere. You have your baby in your arms and this moment is magical. It's something unexplainable. I mean, this tiny human that was inside of you is now in your arms. But on the other hand, I also felt, finally, this is done. I've given birth. I'm so exhausted. I'm so happy to have my baby, but I'm just tired. I don't really understand what's happening. Like, it's been so much. I need some time to breathe. I need some time to, just to recover. But you don't get this time anymore. You give birth, you have your baby, and it just starts from there. I was shaking nonstop. I had my baby on me, but I was just like shivering. I remember I was so cold, I was freezing, and mentally I wasn't good at all. I couldn't tell you what was happening inside of my head, but clearly it was just a lot of things going on. You know, everyone says the second you give birth, the second your baby's out, you're gonna feel this immediate connection with your baby and you're gonna love him immediately and it's just gonna all happen poof like that. I might get judged for what I'm gonna tell you, or you might not agree, but I'm still going to share my personal feelings with you. And I'm gonna tell you that this was not the case for me. I did not feel this instant love. I obviously felt this instant connection. The way I feel about him today after 6 weeks is not how I felt about him when I first saw him and met him. And I believe that people have to normalize this, and people have to normalize the fact that for some women it's different, and when you do give birth, you won't feel it immediately. And that's okay. You know, it's totally fine. I mean, you have just been through hours of labor maybe and giving birth, and it's hard. And yes, the baby is the result of everything you've been working so hard for the past hours. I personally did not really know what to do with him. I've never been a maternal person. I always wanted my own baby, but I've never been the kind of person that's gonna see babies and want to take care of them and want to play with them. I've been neutral towards babies, to be honest, until I've had mine, obviously. Now I see a baby, I'm like, oh, so cute, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm like, oh, everything has changed. You find yourself with a tiny human that you are now fully responsible for, that you brought to life. So you have to take care of him and you have to give your best and you have to make sure that this tiny human stays alive, because when they're small, they're so small that you have the impression that they're just gonna break if you take a little finger. And you also have to go through your recovery. You're also super woman, huh? Congratulations to all of the mothers out there, because really take some time and tell yourself and like thank your body for everything that it has been going through, and thank yourself and be grateful. When we came home, I had this huge anxiety of hurting him. You know, he's so delicate. Every time I was just thinking, all the bad case scenarios were just coming to my head. What if I walk and I trip and he falls and he hits his head, and then that's that? What if I break his face? What if I break his neck? What if I break his arms? What if I break something? What if he doesn't breathe? What if he's gonna suffocate? What if I'm gonna feed him too hard and he's gonna choke? What if I'm not gonna be able to know what to do? Who am I gonna call? You know, it was so much anxiety going on in my head that I was worried about every single little thing. I was just creating these scenarios in my head of bad things happening that it just took over. I remember the first time I took him out on his stroller outside, when he was 3 weeks old. When I got out of the building with him, I saw everything as a potential danger for him. I was out looking left, right, holding the stroller like super tight. I was worried, like, What if I'm gonna let go to the stroller? What if someone's gonna kidnap him? What if someone's gonna steal him from me? What if I'm not looking properly left and right and then a car is gonna come? Like, it was just all these scenarios in my head. What if a person passes by and he's sick and he's gonna give him a sickness? What if it's cold? What if it's hot? What if, it was just so too much. When you're pregnant, you have a baby bump, so even if you gain some weight, you still look good because, well, there's the bump and there's the baby, and you know that you're carrying and you're giving life to this beautiful human being. So you have life inside of you, and for me at least, pregnancy was absolutely great, and I felt amazing, and I was all glowy, and everything was totally awesome. And then you give birth, baby's out, and you are left with your body that doesn't look the same at all. And no wonder it doesn't look the same. Of course it doesn't look the same. I mean, 9 months later, after you've been carrying a baby, it cannot look the same. After I've delivered and I saw myself in the mirror a few hours later, I was shocked. Also, I was so hard on myself. This is something that I would like to tell you not to be. Don't be so hard on yourself. I was looking and I was just thinking, my God, I look terrible. I look horrible. I had a belly as if I was 7 months pregnant still. It was huge and I wasn't prepared for that. But I gained 23 kilos during my pregnancy. So afterwards, I had no longer the baby bump, but I had the fat, the water, the swollen feet. I had a C-section, not because I wanted to, but because I had to have one. I will tell you the story in my birth story. I found myself with a C-section, with the terrible, horrible pain of the C-section. You have like a cut. I felt like I was a robot with all the stitches that I had. Nothing felt the same anymore. So as much as having a baby is a miracle, you have this upside and then you have the downside. And to be very honest, so we stayed in the hospital and then we went home. And thank God my mom and my grandma were here to help me, because I don't know what I would have done without their help. It is so important, if you have your family, if you're close to them, for them to be there for you and to support you and be there by your side mentally. It helped a lot, because let me tell you, you come home from the hospital with a baby, your husband might be going back to work, which was my case, or they could be staying home with you, which could be helpful, and you would have a lot of support. If you're someone like me that never had any sort of interaction with a baby before, I've never changed a diaper, I've never fed a baby, I've never nothing, I haven't touched a baby before. I have never held a baby before in my life. My baby was the first time I've ever held a baby. You have all these new responsibilities and you don't know what to do. You're like a beginner, it's all new for you, but it's also new for the baby, so you both have to adapt. And then there's the guilt feeling that comes in, the feeling of not being a good enough mom, not giving everything for your baby, not knowing how to do anything, just guilty for thinking that you're not giving your best, that you're not doing anything right. So I was just Googling everything, how to burp, how to feed, how to whatever, everything that I could think of that I thought I was doing wrong, I was Googling. And instead of just enjoying, I was there worrying of the things that I'm not doing well. Just crying all the time. I'm not a good mom. I was just crying that I'm never gonna be a good mom, that I don't know what to do with my baby, that how is this possible that I created a human and I don't know what to do with him. I'm terrible, I'm horrible. It was just a very big guilt feeling that I've had. You don't know what to do. You're just there and I was kind of numb. When I got home, nothing was the same and I was just scared. The baby was crying. I had my pain. You have to recover, but you also don't have time to recover, because guess what? You have to wake up at night and you cannot sleep anymore. It's really a lot mentally and physically on your body, so do get some help. Doing it all alone is challenging. You have to deal with your hormones, your kind of depression. I was crying from everything. My husband would come home, ask me a question, I would start crying. And if I think about it now, I'm like, why was I crying again? I was also grieving my past life. Of course, again, you have a baby and I'm grateful and he's healthy and everything's good. But there's also this other side of you, of your person. You are becoming a mother. You are entering a different chapter of your life. So I was grieving my previous chapter. I didn't fully embrace the new one that has just happened because I didn't know how to, so it took me time to fully understand that my life has changed and it's never gonna be the same. you don't have the same flexibility, and it was hard for me to understand that. You cannot be as spontaneous as you wanted to be. And again, it was hard for me to understand that too, because I used to be the kind of person with my husband that would just say, okay, tomorrow we are going and we're traveling there, we're doing this, and that. Well, that no longer can happen. But again, I'm sure it's just for a short period of time, and I'm sure that things will be different the more the baby will grow, and that's totally fine. But if I regret something, is I did not fully enjoy his first weeks, because I was so focused on how my life is not going to be the same, instead of really fully always focusing on this beautiful miracle that just came into our lives. My husband and I, we love each other so much, and we always had a crazy passion for each other, and it was me and him all the time, just me and him, and my attention was fully on him and his attention was fully on me. And now you have another person that kind of enters your relationship, and you wanted it to happen, but you don't really know how it's going to be when this third person is going to enter the chat, And so it took some time to adapt and to understand that there is no longer just me and him, and there is no longer just our love, and now we are sharing it with our baby, and it's just a different phase of our lives. Even now talking about it, I might sound grateful, or I don't know, I still feel a bit of like, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, maybe I shouldn't be saying that, because people are going to think this and that and this and that. But well, it's what I think. I don't want you guys to understand me wrongly. I love my baby. I adore him. I'm obsessed with him, and I'm so grateful that we have him in our lives. And your life is never going to be the same, but I cannot imagine how my life would be without him anymore. It's just part of me. He's my soul now. I've had this feeling growing on me. I slowly fell in love with him. I slowly got to discover him. I took my time. It was like day after day after day, it was just getting better and better and better. And I was just so obsessed in the first days with understanding him. I have a problem with control, and I just always want to be in control. And with a baby, you must understand that you cannot control anything. And things happen without really you being able to understand why and when and how they happen when they are so young. And I've been reading all these books that were telling me that your baby has to be on a routine from day one. The second he gets out of your belly, he needs a routine. He needs to sleep at this certain time. He needs to eat at this time. He needs to poo at this time. Like, these books are just like, tack, routine. I thought, you know what? This is what I have to do. So instead of fully enjoying my newborn baby, I was focusing on the routines, and I was just thinking, why is he not pooping at the right time? Why is he not sleeping at the right time? What can I do to make him sleep at the right time? My baby wanted to eat a lot. He was just hungry, and he always wanted to eat. So I was thinking, why does my baby want to eat so much? But this book says that he's supposed to be eating at this time, but my baby has to eat every hour. Why is it? I was the one just polluting my brain by myself, basically. When things just got so much better, the second I gave up, the second I told myself that I don't need all these routines, I'm just gonna listen to my baby. It's totally fine if he's not doing whatever the books are saying or whatever everyone is saying that they're doing with their kids. I'm just gonna listen to him. I'm gonna give him the love that he needs. I'm gonna give him the time that he needs. I'm gonna give him whatever it is that he needs, and things are going to arrange themselves. And this is when I managed to fully start enjoying my time with my baby and knowing him and really looking at him, and stop being controlling. You cannot control a newborn. Like, he's 5 days old. What was I thinking? Like, oh, you have to sleep now. No, you sleep whenever you want. I realized that it's much harder for him than it is for me, because he got out of my belly. He's in this whole new environment. He has to adapt more than I have to adapt to what's going on with him. And the only thing he needs is for his mother, the only person that he knows close to him, and that he has been inside of my belly, he heard me, he smells me, for him to feel me next to him and for me to be present. And honestly, having a baby is such a mindfulness exercise, because you always have to stay present in the moment. And the second I was just there for him and I followed his rhythm and I gave up on all of this craziness that I had in my head, trust me, everything just went so much better. It's hard as a new mom to understand that things have changed. You no longer have the time you've had before. You can no longer dedicate yourself to you and to things that you want to do. You now have to dedicate all this to your baby, because this is a tiny human that needs you for everything, to eat, to sleep. The problem is that in my head, I thought, well, a newborn is easy, you know? He eats, he sleeps, he poops, you change his diaper, done, that's it. And this is what everyone told me. But yes, in a big picture, this is it. But he doesn't eat in 5 minutes. He doesn't poop in 2 seconds. He doesn't fall asleep in 5 minutes, you know? So all day long, all you do is this on repeat. And you find yourself doing this on repeat, but you also have to heal yourself from the birth, from the hormones, and you don't have time with your partner anymore. Nothing, it's all like out the window. But what I want to say is that feeling this way is okay. If I can really say that you should do something, is fully enjoy these moments with your newborn, because they're not gonna last. He's never gonna be like this. He's not always gonna need you to put him to sleep. He's not always gonna need you to feed him, and things are just gonna get better. And honestly, what else are you gonna do? I can always go to a restaurant with a friend. I can always just go out at night. I can always just do these things when he's older, but I will never, ever have these moments with him being a newborn and so small and a baby. The simple things with a newborn are just so magnified. I could stare at his face for like a very long time and just look at his every single reaction, the way he moves his face, his lips, his fingers, his eyes. And then you're just so happy when you hear him poo, and you're so happy when you hear a little fart, and you're just so happy when, you know, the first poo, and then he's there like pooping, and you're like, oh my god, you're pooping. You know, it's just all these little things. Just study every little part of his face, of his body, his toes. And sometimes I hold him in my arms and I'm just wondering, how did I create a human? How out of my body is it possible that I have created a human being? Like, he's here. I made him with my partner, but he was made inside of my body. It's just unimaginable for me. It's just like, wow, like mind-blowing. This was that, and then I had my body. I still do. This is still a problem because I still have 15 kilos left. So I am much bigger than I used to be. I've never looked like this in my life. I have a belly, which I've never had, you know, so mentally it's a bit hard for me to see myself in the mirror looking like this. But again, I, took a deep breath in and I started telling myself, Cristina, you just gave birth, so relax. To be honest, I didn't really know how to take care of my baby at the very beginning. I didn't know why he was crying, what I had to do, how to feed him properly, how to properly change his diaper, touch him properly. I was so scared to touch him. He seemed so fragile, and the mother instinct didn't just come immediately the second the baby came out of my body and boom, okay, now I'm a mom, I know exactly what to do, I had it all. I didn't have it all figured out at all. It's something new, it's all unknown, it's something that we haven't been prepared for. It's something that, well, you have to deal with. There's so much beauty in this newness, but there's also a lot of fear. It just took some time for me to not give up on my past life, but put it on pause and understand that having a baby is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, because I thought, okay, well, he's a baby, he's a newborn. I can take him with me anywhere. I can feed him anywhere. He's going to sleep anywhere. I can change him anywhere. So I can just continue doing everything that I've been doing before, like traveling, going out, doing this and that, and having time with my husband. And he's just going to be on me the whole time and everything's going to be fine. But it's not like that at all. At all. The baby needs his own time. And at the end of the day, you fall down. You're completely exhausted. It's like 8 p.m. and all you want to do is sleep. And you feel guilty as well for your partner because you want to spend time with him and you want to offer him your love and you want things to be as they used to be. But unfortunately, they cannot be the same in the first few months. I don't know until when. Enjoy it while it lasts, because time really flies. All this to say that it does take time to adapt to being a mother and to adapt to understanding your baby and to love your baby and to be obsessed with your baby. We should all be not so hard on ourselves. Postpartum depression really is something that really does hit you, and it does exist. There's many people that say, oh, what is that? Like, hormonally, you're down with everything. I want to tell you that now we are in a very good routine and balance together, my baby and I. And I'm so grateful that I'm living this. Now, as you can see, I'm here smiling and I'm here so happy. But if you would have seen me a few weeks ago, I wasn't at all this way. For me, it was just not easy to kind of give up on learning how to love someone else more then you love yourself, because that's what it is. You have to give everything you've got to this baby. If you just gave birth and you feel not all right at all, trust me, it will get better and you will feel much better. Be kind to yourself and be kind to your baby. It's an experience that is so beautiful, something that you should enjoy. Be there for your baby, because you are the only person he knows. You are the only voice he knows, and he just needs you. That's it. Guys, this was me sharing my very intimate thoughts. So if you do feel the same, if let me know your opinion on what I just told you. I'm curious if you had an immediate bond with your baby the second you gave birth, or the same that it happened for me. It took a little bit of time for you to create that genuine bond. Thank you. This was it for this video, and I hope to see you soon on my next one. Goodbye, guys.